fight between two women. That scene unfolding here near State and Cermak. One of the women allegedly pulled out a gun and shot the other woman in the face. The 31-year-old victim was taken to the hospital and later died.
The lunchbox note was still warm when the gunshot echoed across the school parking lot. September 8, 2025, 9:07 a.m. Chicago's South Loop. Parents dropping off their kids for another ordinary Tuesday morning. But Romeca Meeks had no idea she was walking into her own execution. You can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You're the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. Those words, written in her own handwriting just hours earlier, would become her final message to her 5-year-old son, a birthday boy who would never see his mother alive again. The scream that shattered the morning air wasn't from Romeca. It was from a witness watching a 31-year-old nursing student bleed out on the pavement while her killer stood over the body, gun still smoking, shouting about her concealed carry license. But here's what nobody saw coming. This wasn't a random act of violence. This was a carefully planned ambush. 2 against 1, baby daddy and his new girlfriend lying in wait like predators outside an elementary school. The blood pooling near license plate flag Bay 21, 845 told one story. The woman claiming self-defense told another. And the justice system? They chose to believe the killer. While Romeca's body was still warm at Stroger Hospital, her murderer walked out of jail the same day, free, uncharged, unpunished. A mother executed during school drop-off. A 5-year-old orphaned on his birthday. A killer walking the streets of Chicago tonight. This is the story they don't want you to hear. The case that exposes how broken our system really is. The tragedy that proves sometimes the good guys don't win. Welcome to Shadows of Crime, where we don't sugarcoat the truth. I'm your host, and if you're ready for stories that'll keep you awake at night questioning everything you thought you knew about justice, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear Romeca's story, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from today, because this family needs to know the world is watching. Romeca Meeks wasn't supposed to die that day. She was supposed to pick up her son from school, celebrate his 5th birthday, and continue building the life she'd fought so hard to create. At 31, she was everything the system claims to protect. A nursing student grinding through double shifts to pay for her education, a single mother who turned TikTok videos with her son into pure joy, a woman who found magic in bowling nights and Orlando trips, making memories on a budget that would make your heart ache. Her family called her $1 Million Romeca, not because of what she had, but because of who she was. Smart, beautiful, determined. The kind of woman who could light up a room and make you believe anything was possible. But Romeca had a problem that no amount of hard work could fix. A ghost from her past who refused to stay buried. Carlos. Baby daddy. The man who gave her the greatest gift of her life, her son, and then spent 7 years making her pay for it. Their relationship started like a fairy tale. Maternity photos. Dreams of building a family. A beautiful baby boy born in 2018. But fairy tales don't include cheating, lies, and the kind of psychological warfare that leaves scars you can't see. Carlos wasn't just unfaithful, he was strategic about it. Running women like it was a sport while Romeca worked herself to exhaustion trying to hold their family together. When she finally found the strength to walk away, he made sure she understood the rules of his game. Men like Carlos don't just let you leave. They follow you. They haunt you. They punish you for daring to believe you deserve better. For years, Romeca tried to build boundaries, restraining orders, limited contact, co-parenting schedules that kept interactions to a minimum. She documented everything, kept records, played by the rules the system told her would keep her safe. But paper can't stop a bullet, hope can't shield you from hatred, and sometimes the very thing you think will protect you, sharing a child with your abuser, becomes the weapon they use to destroy you. Romeca thought she was building a new life. She had no idea Carlos was building her grave. Comment below. Have you ever had someone from your past who wouldn't let you move on? Share your story because Romeca's family needs to know they're not alone in this fight. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is tell the truth. Enter Quada Johnson, but she went by Holly because apparently even killers need stage names. Milwaukee to Chicago. 90 miles of interstate that Holly crossed with one mission burning in her chest. Make Romeca Meeks disappear. This wasn't your typical baby mama drama. This was psychological warfare with a pregnant woman as the weapon of choice. Holly didn't just fall for Carlos, she enlisted in his army. While carrying his second child in 2025, she turned harassment into an art form. Tag teaming with Carlos to make Romeca's life a living nightmare became their twisted version of couples bonding. But Holly was smarter than your average side chick. She understood the game Carlos had been playing for years. If you want to destroy someone legally, you don't just attack them. You make them look like the aggressor. The restraining order Holly filed against Romeca wasn't protection, it was preparation. A legal document that would later become her get-out-of-jail-free card. She painted herself as the victim while actively seeking confrontation with the woman whose life she was determined to end. Think about the calculation behind that move. Holly knew she was planning something that would require legal cover. She knew she needed to flip the script before the blood hit the pavement. While Romeca was working double shifts and studying for nursing school, Holly was studying something else: how to commit the perfect murder in broad daylight. The pregnancy wasn't just about having Carlos's baby. It was about claiming territory, marking her place in a war that Romeca didn't even know she was fighting. Every doctor's appointment, every baby shower photo, every social media post was a declaration. I'm replacing you. But replacement wasn't enough for Holly. She wanted elimination. Carlos had spent years breaking Romeca down psychologically. Holly came to finish the job physically. Together, they formed the kind of partnership that makes your skin crawl. Two predators who found each other and decided to hunt as a pack. The restraining order Holly held against Romeca became her insurance policy. When the time came to pull that trigger, she already had her defense prepared. Self-defense, fear for her life, protection of her unborn child. Never mind that she traveled from another state to confront Romeca. Never mind that she actively sought out conflict. Never mind that she brought a gun to a school zone where children were present. Holly Johnson had rewritten the rules of engagement. She turned victimhood into a weapon and self-defense into a license to kill. And the most terrifying part? It worked. While Romeca lay dying on that pavement, Holly was already rehearsing the performance that would set her free. The tears, the trauma, the fear. She had turned murder into theater, and the justice system bought front-row tickets to her show. September 8, 2025, 6:30 a.m. Romeca's alarm goes off, but she's already awake. It's her baby's 5th birthday, and mothers don't sleep through milestones like this. She moves through her morning routine with the kind of love that only single mothers understand. Every gesture deliberate, every moment precious. Making breakfast while mentally planning the birthday celebration that would never happen. The lunchbox sits open on the kitchen counter. Inside, she places a handwritten note, the kind of message that transforms an ordinary school day into something magical. You can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You're the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. I love you so much, and you make me so proud. Have a great day. Mommy loves you. Love, Mommy. She signs it with hearts and smiley faces, marking it as a fresh start. Those words would haunt investigators later. Did she sense something coming? Was this her way of saying goodbye? Her son bounces around the apartment, birthday energy radiating from every pore. 5 years old today, the center of his mother's universe. The reason she worked double shifts and studied late into the night. Romeca takes extra time getting him ready. Birthday boys deserve special attention. She snaps a few photos, the last ones they would ever take together. 8:45 a.m., time to go. The drive to school is filled with birthday chatter, plans for cake, excitement about presents, a little boy who has no idea his world is about to shatter. They pull up to the school on Cermak Road and State Street. Other parents are doing the same dance. Quick kisses, backpack checks, reminders about pickup times. Romeca walks her son to the entrance. One last hug, one last I love you, one last moment of being his whole world. She watches him disappear into the building, then turns back toward her car. The morning sun catches her face as she smiles, probably thinking about the birthday surprise waiting at home. But Carlos and Holly are already there, waiting, watching, ready. License plate flag Bay 21. 845 idols nearby. Two predators who have turned a school zone into their hunting ground. Romeca has no idea she's walking toward her execution. In her mind, she's just another mom finishing school drop-off, counting down the hours until birthday cake and celebration. Drop a comment right now. What's the most heartbreaking part of this story so far? Because it's about to get so much worse, and we need you to witness what happens next. 9:07 a.m. The ambush begins. Romeca is walking back to her car when she spots them. Carlos and Holly, waiting by their vehicle like predators who've been stalking their prey. This isn't random, this is planned. Holly makes the first move. She doesn't approach calmly, she comes at Romeca aggressively, ready for confrontation. The other parents in the school zone immediately sense something's wrong. The physical altercation erupts fast. Holly jumps at Romeca, initiating the fight. But Romeca doesn't know this is just the opening act of her own murder. While Holly keeps Romeca engaged, Carlos moves in. He grabs Romeca from behind, wrapping his arms around her neck in a headlock. She's trapped, helpless, exactly where they want her. Parents start screaming. Children are watching. Someone needs to call 911, but everything is happening too fast. Holly suddenly breaks away from the fight and runs back to their car. She reaches inside, her hands searching for something specific, the gun. Romeca is still locked in Carlos's grip. She can't move, can't defend herself, can't escape. She's completely vulnerable, and Holly knows it. Holly returns with the weapon, point-blank range, face to face with the woman she's traveled from Milwaukee to kill. The gunshot shatters the morning quiet. Romeca collapses to the pavement. Blood immediately spreads around her head where the bullet struck her face. The shot was deliberate, close range, meant to kill. The aftermath is chaos and confusion. She shot her. I saw her put the gun in the car, a witness screams, documenting what just happened. He had her in a headlock before the shot was fired, another parent yells, pointing at Carlos, whose hands are now stained with blood. Holly, standing over Romeca's body with the gun still in her possession, immediately starts her defense. I'm licensed to carry, but witnesses quickly challenge her claim. They saw what really happened. They watched her retrieve the gun from the car and execute a woman who was being restrained by her accomplice. Carlos, blood visible on his hands from the struggle, adds his own version. It was self-defense, against a woman they ambushed at her son's school. A woman Carlos held immobile while Holly shot her in the face. A woman who was trying to get away from them when they initiated the confrontation. Emergency responders arrived to find Romeca dying on the school grounds while her attackers stand nearby, already crafting the story they'll tell police. Romeca is rushed to Stroger Hospital, but the damage is too severe. The face shot was meant to kill, and it succeeded. She's pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Inside the school, her 5-year-old son sits in his classroom, completely unaware that his birthday has become the worst day of his life. The lunchbox notes she wrote that morning, full of love and encouragement, will be the last words she ever gives him. Holly Johnson and Carlos are taken into custody at the scene. The evidence is overwhelming. Multiple witnesses, video footage, blood evidence, a clear sequence of events showing premeditated murder. But somehow, this slam-dunk case is about to become a masterclass in how the justice system can fail the people it's supposed to protect. Same day, same courthouse, same justice system that's supposed to protect innocent mothers. Holly Johnson walks out of jail while Romeca's body is still being processed at the morgue. No charges filed, no bail hearing, no consequences. The woman who executed a mother in front of children gets to go home and sleep in her own bed that night. How does this happen? How does someone commit murder in broad daylight with multiple witnesses and walk away like nothing happened? The answer will make your blood boil. Holly's restraining order against Romeca becomes her golden ticket to freedom. That piece of paper she filed weeks earlier, the one that painted her as the victim while she was planning Romeca's murder, suddenly transforms into legal armor. Self-defense, she tells investigators. I feared for my life. Never mind that she traveled 90 miles from Milwaukee to Chicago specifically to confront Romeca. Never mind that she brought a gun to a school zone. Never mind that her boyfriend held the victim in a headlock while she executed her. The restraining order makes her the victim in the eyes of the law. But here's what really happened behind closed doors. Holly Johnson played the system like a master manipulator. She claimed Romeca was the aggressor. She said she felt threatened. She painted herself as a pregnant woman protecting her unborn child from a dangerous stalker. The investigators bought it. Hook, line, and execution. While Romeca's family was planning a funeral, Holly was planning her next move as a free woman. While a 5-year-old boy was asking why mommy wasn't coming home, his mother's killer was tucking her own child into bed. The community erupted. Social media exploded. How do you execute someone during school drop-off and claim self-defense? How do you travel to another city with a gun and call it protection? But Holly had done her homework. She knew exactly which buttons to push, which laws to exploit, which story to tell. The restraining order wasn't just legal protection. It was premeditation disguised as victimhood. Carlos walks free too. Blood on his hands, literally and figuratively, but no charges filed. The man who held Romeca in a headlock while his girlfriend shot her gets to go home to his newborn baby like nothing happened. 2 killers, 0 consequences, 1 dead mother. The family's rage is volcanic. Romeca's aunt, La Leslie, becomes the voice of their fury. She looked like she was asleep but had a hole in her face. The image of viewing Romeca's body haunts her, but what haunts her more is watching the killers walk free. But the nightmare doesn't end with Holly's release. The internet vultures descend immediately. Fake fundraisers pop up overnight. People create false donation pages, stealing money meant for Romeca's son. Others share the traumatic footage for clout, turning a mother's murder into entertainment. La Leslie fights back against every lie, every fake story, every attempt to profit from their pain. We're not resting until we get justice, she promises. But justice feels impossible when the killers are already free. The investigation continues, they say. Charges can still be filed later, they promise. But every day Holly Johnson remains free is another day the system fails Romeca's memory. Here's the most twisted part. Holly's pregnancy becomes part of her defense. She's not just protecting herself, she's protecting her unborn child from the dangerous woman she just murdered. The same woman who was walking away from them when they initiated contact. Motherhood is a shield for murdering another mother. The irony would be poetic if it wasn't so devastating. Tonight, Holly Johnson sleeps in her own bed. Carlos tucks in his children, and somewhere in Chicago, A 6-year-old boy cries himself to sleep, wondering why his mommy never came home from school drop-off. This is where we need you to get angry. Share this story everywhere. Tag your local news stations. Make noise, because silence equals complicity, and Romeca Meeks deserves better than our silence. The balloon release happens on a Friday evening. Thousands of pink, white, and silver balloons carrying the nickname Big Meeks float into the Chicago sky while her family stands below, shattered. Romeca's mother, Tina McMiller, speaks publicly for the first time since losing her daughter. Surrounded by family but drowning in grief, she delivers words that cut straight to the bone. Someone has to pay for this. It's not right, but the person who should pay is free. The person who should be behind bars is posting on social media. The person who should face consequences is planning her future while Romeca's future ended on a school parking lot.
Someone has to pay for this. It's not right.
Tina now faces an impossible reality, raising her grandson while grieving her daughter. The 6-year-old boy who should be celebrating birthdays with his mother is now asking questions no child should have to ask. Need y'all to pray for my baby. He has shut down. He don't want to be around nobody, Tina tells the crowd at the Vigil. Shut down, 6 years old and already broken by a world that failed to protect his mother. The extended family rallies around him. Grandmother Tina, great-grandmother Aunt La Leslie, cousin Ciardra Bays. They form a protective circle around a child who lost everything on what should have been the happiest day of his year. But love can't replace a mother's touch. Family support can't erase the trauma of losing the person who wrote encouraging notes in your lunchbox. Community prayers can't bring back bedtime stories and birthday hugs. The vigil outside Englewood STEM High School becomes a testament to who Romeca really was. A memorial board fills with messages about her love, her kindness, her dedication, the love she showed everybody. Y'all showed it all back, Tina says through tears. Cousin Ciardra Bays leads prayers for strength. I ask that you give us strength. Give us strength, Father, for every one of us, because we're going to need it in this moment.
That you give us strength. Give us strength, Father, for every one of us, because we're going to need it in this moment.
They need strength because the fight isn't over. The investigation continues. Charges can still be filed. Hope still exists that justice might eventually find its way to Holly Johnson and Carlos. But hope feels fragile when you're burying a 31-year-old nursing student who died protecting herself from people who should have been protecting her. The family calls for enforcement of Illinois House Bill 1058, legislation that declares violence a public health crisis. They want systemic change, not just personal justice. They want Romeca's death to mean something beyond their own grief. $1 Million Romeca becomes more than a family nickname. It becomes a rallying cry for every woman who's ever feared her ex-partner, every mother who's ever worried about school drop-off, every family who's ever watched the justice system fail someone they love. The balloons disappear into the Chicago sky, carrying their prayers and their pain toward heaven. But down on earth, the fight for justice continues. This isn't just Romeca's story. This is every woman's nightmare. The pattern was there. Escalating harassment after the breakup. Ex-partner who wouldn't accept rejection. New girlfriend weaponizing pregnancy and legal manipulation. Using their child as forced contact. Sound familiar? It should. Because this happens every single day across America. Restraining orders become worthless paper when facing determined killers. Self-defense laws get twisted to protect murderers instead of victims. Pregnant women claim victimhood while executing mothers in school zones. The system that promised to protect Romeca failed her completely. The same system that might fail you. If you recognize these warning signs in your own life, get help now. Don't wait for the restraining order. Don't hope they'll change. Don't believe you can manage the situation alone, because Holly Johnson proved that killers don't follow rules. They don't respect boundaries. They don't care about witnesses or children or consequences. They care about control. and when they lose control, they eliminate the problem. Romeca thought she was safe during school drop-off. She thought daylight and witnesses would protect her. She thought the legal system would hold her abusers accountable. She was wrong about all three. Don't make her mistakes. Your life depends on it. $1 Million Romeca, nursing student, devoted mother. Her final act was writing a love note to her son. That lunchbox message, "You can start off strong, always remain yourself," wasn't just encouragement, it was prophecy. Her son will have to start strong without her. He'll have to remain himself while growing up with the knowledge that his mother's killers walk free. Romeca's legacy shouldn't be another unsolved case file gathering dust. It should be justice. It should be systemic change. It should be a world where mothers don't get executed during school drop-off while their killers claim self-defense. How many more mothers have to die before we fix this broken system? This case isn't over. Holly Johnson is still free. Carlos is still walking the streets, and Romeca's son is still waiting for justice. Don't let this story disappear into your feed. Share it with everyone you know. Tag your local news stations. Demand answers from Chicago police. Make so much noise that they can't ignore this family's pain. Subscribe right now, because we're not stopping until Holly Johnson faces consequences for what she did. Hit that notification bell, share this video everywhere, and tell us in the comments, what would you do if this was your family? Because silence makes us all complicit in this injustice.